Hey, welcome to the show. Let me get both of us off the screen. It's Bradley J. And where's my co-partner or co-host or what do we call you? What are you?
I don't know what I am, but I'm just glad that you didn't put me on the screen first like last time. I was not prepared for an intro.
Well, you have to come up with one on the spot. I thought you were good like this. You weren't?
No, that's you. I'm just your sidekick.
Okay. Oh, now you admit you're my sidekick. You used to
I'm
call
your
this
sidekick.
Now you used to call this your show.
No, I'm just here.
You used to call it your show, and now you don't anymore. All right, that's good. Good to know.
I call it that when I don't want to do the intro.
By the way, in case you people don't know, on my show in the afternoon, 3 to 7, I do play little clips of what Shayla says right here on this show. So if you listen to the radio, or if you miss this and you're like, oh, what part was it? You can listen on there. I noticed your mom's not on. Is she busy?
I was just with my mom, actually. So she's probably on her way home still. I should have just had her come here and we could have did this together.
She doesn't want to be on, though.
Oh, yeah, she doesn't want to be on. She'd come up with an excuse. She had something to do.
All right. So lately, I've been opening the show with a question, and I'm going to continue that, but we'll dive into it as a topic as well. So it is, Shayla, would you choose comfort or gourmet food for the rest of your life? So you can't have one that you don't choose. Like if you choose comfort food, you can never have gourmet food, which gourmet food to me is like food that is like in the top 3 of the food that you mentioned. Like if you went out and you ate gourmet, I don't know, you ate gourmet seafood, you couldn't have that for the rest of your life. You couldn't have gourmet seafood, or you couldn't have gourmet, whatever it is, Italian, Mexican, American, whatever kind of food it is, you can't have it. But if you choose comfort food, you can't have foods like pizza and ice cream and cake. What else? Whatever else you consider a comfort food. So which one you going for, a gourmet or a comfort food? Which one you choosing for the rest of your life?
I don't even have to think about this. Comfort food, for sure. For sure. Like, first thing that comes into my head, I'm kind of like a 5-year-old. I'm thinking like mac and cheese. You said pizza, like chicken strips. Like I wouldn't be able to do without those things for the rest of my life. I could do without the gourmet food. And I think I've realized this after I've just went to my first all-inclusive resort. Amazing. Loved it. But, like the gourmet food, it's like the small little portions of it, and it's so good, but I would still choose the comfort food over the gourmet.
So let me ask you, so is it because you weren't like brought up on gourmet food? Because I was not. I was not brought up on gourmet food. I was brought up more on hamburgers and
steak rolls. Yeah.
Steak could be considered gourmet, but the steak I had was not gourmet steak. All right. Yeah. It was steak from the cow that was in the neighbor's yard. And that's not gourmet. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe I just don't know. I don't want to offend any farmers or anybody who is a beef producer. I don't want to offend them. So I guess people watching, man, what would you choose? Gourmet or comfort food for the rest of your life?
I feel like your husband would choose gourmet. So I think this is where we're totally opposite, though. Because when we went to the all-inclusive resort, he was all about all the seafood things, like all the fancy stuff. And like, you give me a bowl of mac and cheese, like I'm happy. Like it's, I don't need lobster. It's fine.
So let me ask you, I have a few questions. Was he raised like eating like what you would consider gourmet food?
Yeah, I think so. Like he had a lot more seafood growing up. Like I didn't. So I think the casseroles and the pizza and the hamburger and stuff, that's more of my go-to.
Yeah. What food group, let's see, do you consider like Italian food, some of it like gourmet food? I'm thinking every style of food has a gourmet food on it, or you can make it like a gourmet food. But when I think of like food, like I think overseas for me, like if I went to France, I'd be like, oh, that's kind of like high class food. Because I've never been. I don't know. I'm sure they have comfort food. I know they have comfort food over there, but I don't know what it really, I don't know if it's like here in the States or if it's different.
Yeah, I think you can make any food gourmet. Like, I'm thinking off the top of my head, you said Italian. So I'm thinking like lasagna. I love just a good Stouffer's lasagna that you just pop in the oven, But then I feel like you can make lasagna super fancy and you go to like a fancy Italian restaurant and it's this big, and it's really, really good, but like,
So
portion.
you consider gourmet food little food.
Yeah. That's how I distinguish what's comfort food and gourmet food. Comfort food, I can have all I want. Gourmet
Gourmet
food
food,
is me.
gourmet food, just little tiny, little
Yeah.
tiny. Okay, so I saw this the title of this next topic, and I thought, man, I'm going to ask Shayla if she has these because you guys, you moved into a new house not too long ago. Has it been a year?
Yeah, it's been
Oh,
almost 2.
oh, almost two. Wow, I'm way behind. I'm way behind. So, okay, since it's been 2 years, have you guys got to know your neighbors?
Yes, we have one side, but then the other side, I think it's a rental. So there's been different people that have lived there every now and then. So
Do you
we're
talk to
kind of
them?
no, we're kind of bad at going over and like introducing ourselves to the new people all the time. But
So
I keep in contact with one, yes.
okay, so you don't have neighbors with benefits, and it's not what you're thinking. Okay, it's not what you think. Neighbors with benefits, like if you like, I don't have neighbors with benefits, and what I mean by that is like I'm not handy with tools like fixing a sink. If there's a little bit of a leak or things like that, or a neighbor that's really a handy mechanic and can fix car things. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like you're like, oh, your neighbor's like, oh, you saw him out there talking, you get to know him and all, or him or her, and you get out there talking, and all of a sudden you find out it's like they're really good with tool or fixing a car, and they offer to help, and you're like, I don't know, like that, and you're like, all of a sudden, yeah, he or she fixes your car. Boom. Next thing you know, you have a neighbor with benefits. Anytime you want something to, hey, my car sounds funny. Let me take a look at it, neighbor. See what I can do. So do you
Mm.
have a neighbor with benefits, Shayla? And it's not what you think.
No, but now I think I need one. So maybe I should go and introduce myself to these people right over here.
Because
Maybe
you never know.
they
I
could be
mean,
useful
I
for
think
something.
you think about it for someone who can't get out and mow their yard. Like your neighbor has a kid that is like, hey, I want to mow your yard just because I want to learn how to mow. And that neighbor's kid becomes a kind of a neighbor with benefits because they want to mow your yard.
Mhm.
So I mean, like that. So yeah, so like get to know your neighbors, and you never know, you might have a neighbor with benefits, and it's not what you think. But
Mm.
well, if somebody was going to be your neighbor with benefits, what could you offer them to help them with? Like, what's your Gustavo could cook for them, obviously.
Oh yeah, Gustavo could grill for them for sure. Like what we've done in the past at the last place we lived in a townhome, and so the driveway was shared with it the other side of the townhome. And
Right.
so when it came to like, when it was snowing and stuff and you had to like shovel the snow, I would just either me or Gustavo, I would just shovel it all because I mean it's kind of the smart thing to do. You're already out there, you're doing it. Like why would you just stop where their side?
Yeah.
So and
There are
we're
people like that.
young, we're young, so it's like Gustavo, let's just do it all, be nice.
There are people like that, though.
I know there are people like that. Yeah. I just feel like you're already out there, you're doing it. Like, what's a couple extra scoops?
Yeah, see, now I would do something like that if I had a neighbor that couldn't scoop their walk. Like I
Yeah.
would go out and help them. Like I would be like, "Oh, you need help?" I will say this: I helped my neighbor, and this isn't a neighbor with benefits, but this is a. I went to the mailbox the other day, and somebody had left their keys. Their keys were hooked up. All their keys were on one thing, and they had forgotten that they left it. They just walked away, and the key. So I walk in, like after I got off work, and I go to get the mail, and I look, and I'm like, oh wow, somebody left their keys here. I'm like, and then I thought, like, what do I do? Do I take them? Do you think they'll realize it and come back? Like, if I don't take them, somebody might come and take them and like start going with the thing and unlock the car and steal it. And I was like, I just gotta go knock on doors in my neighborhood, and find
Mhm.
out because I can't leave these keys in the mailbox. That's just not right. And so I
Yeah.
did, and I looked at the emblem on the key on the car key, and then I kind of was walking, trying not to look like I was looking at cars, like, oh, which one am I going to take? I was going down and I saw the emblem matched a emblem on the other side of the parking lot from the mailbox. And so I was like, well, there's a door. There were two doors that were open, and I chose the right there. It was that nice day, and their screen, they had opened their door. And so I went to that door, and of course the dog saw me walk up. So he started barking hysterically. And the woman saw me. She kind of came walking up, and I stood back from the door, and I was like, hey, did you leave your keys in the mailbox? Like, I was like, I just found these and I'm trying to find the owner. And she asked her husband, who was sitting there, and he was like, oh yeah, my key. Yeah, I did. And so I got the keys back to the couple that had them. So
that was nice. That was nice of you.
I was raised by nice parents.
Yeah.
I taught you to be right. All right, moving on. This kind of has to do with it actually has to do with dating. I know you guys don't date,
I haven't
but if you
done
were
that in a while.
yeah, but if you were dating, would you rather have people who share a hobby with you, or they have a different hobby? So, but when you and Gustavo started dating, what you kind of got into it, you kind of learned what his hobbies were. Was there one that you shared or one that you liked, and you were like, yeah, I can't wait to like spend the rest of my life doing this hobby with Gustavo?
I mean, he obviously, like, his biggest hobby is going fishing, which I did a lot growing up too, because my dad liked to go fishing and he had no sons. And so it was the daughters that we would go fishing with him. So I like doing that, but he likes doing it to an extent that I don't. So, like, he will go out there for an entire day. I'm like a 2-hour fisherman. Like, 2 hours, get some good sun, catch some fish and then go home. But he's not. So we don't really share that hobby anymore. But we do share a hobby of watching movies, so I enjoy that.
That's not a hobby.
Yeah, it is. That's a hobby.
Watching movies are not a hobby.
Yeah, it is. That's my hobby.
It's entertainment.
We like live music, so that's a hobby we both have. That's a hobby. Yes.
Again, not hobby. Live music is not a hobby.
Hobby.
Live music is entertainment. A hobby is doing something. You're not doing anything at a concert. You're not singing. You may be dancing, but that's not a hobby. Those are not hobbies.
Hobby. That's my.
What do you like? What do you like to do? What's your favorite? Because you wouldn't say your favorite hobby is like, going to, because you don't do it all the time.
Yeah.
Your hobby is something you do on a regular basis.
I
like my niece knits, and it's more than it's a hobby, and now it's turned into more of a hobby, or more of something she really loves to do, and I think she makes a little money off of it too.
I still think watching TV and movies can be a hobby.
No, come up with a new one.
I disagree with this statement. I disagree. I am actively watching something. That's me doing something. That's a hobby.
Would you consider me riding my bike a hobby?
Yeah, that's a hobby.
I think it's more exercise.
No, that's a hobby.
I do. You might be right, but
a hobby can be getting exercise. What if your hobby is going to the gym? That's some people's hobby.
I can't imagine that. I don't identify that as a hobby. That's
I'm sure someone else. There's gotta be someone else that their hobby is binging Netflix. So if that's you, please come forward.
What about reading a book? Is that a hobby?
Yeah, that's a hobby.
I would agree with you there. I would agree with reading a book is like a hobby because you get into it. Like, yeah.
But that's the same thing. You're either reading something or you're watching something.
I just can't.
Doug, yes.
Yeah, he was shaking his head. Yes, he was agreeing with you. You were agreeing with her, I said. You were agreeing with her, yeah.
Agreeing with her, but not you.
Right.
Natalie commented and she said that TV is a hobby. So
why do you give the comments away? But I can't let me put it on there. Why would you?
Well, you gotta be faster.
You gotta.
You're the host. I'm just here.
You gotta zip it up. Wait, let me go back.
Oh, there we
go. Natalie, TV is a hobby.
Yeah.
I still can't get on board with that, but y'all, I'm outvoted. So go ahead. There you go. I'll let that go. What's a hobby you couldn't like? If you found out Gustavo did this hobby, you would have never got with him. What's something that he could do? Like what if you didn't like his politics? I guess if we're gonna name hobbies, politics could be a hobby you get into.
What? How?
I mean, like not that, but that's an example. Like, what would want to be? What would Gustavo's one habit be where you'd be like, no, I can't be with you because you do that. And you wouldn't
Oh,
tell him. You would
no.
just like, right? You'd be like, that's not for me. It's a red flag.
I don't know. Like I don't know. This is coming to my head, but you're gonna say it's not a hobby because you're not doing anything. You're watching something.
Well, I
But
can't say now. I can't say that stuff now because you and Natalie outvoted me, so I can't
but
say.
lately, Gustavo has really kind of gotten into like opera music. Like I don't like it at all. So I feel like he's gonna be one of those that someday when we go to like New York or something, he's gonna want to go and see like the opera stuff. And I just can't get into it. Like maybe I'm not into it because I haven't been to like an opera concert, but like Gustavo's into it. He is into it. And I don't like it. So that's a hobby. Would that be a hobby?
Yeah,
Watching the
everything's
opera?
everything's a hobby now.
Does that have your approval?
Everything's a hobby now. Okay, let's move on. This is a good one. I gotta add that. Okay, now I can do it. Here you go. Which would you rather have for free the rest of your life? Now, so you've got comfort food. Okay, so now would you rather have free for the rest of your life a housekeeper, a chef, or a masseuse?
I already have a chef for the rest of my life. Married him. So I'm gonna say a masseuse. I'll clean my house all day. That's no problem for me, but I would love someone to rub my back every now and then.
Okay, before you give your final answer on that,
That's
remember
my final answer.
that's your final answer.
Yeah,
Are you sure? Are you sure?
masseuse. Yeah.
Because one day, maybe not soon, but one day you will have a child or children. And a masseuse isn't going to keep your house clean. That's going to benefit you. But I mean, I could see if you still want to stick with it, you have a child or children, you get a little stressed. That masseuse helps you out every day. Takes the stress away, does all that. But then you got to get up and clean the house. I'm just saying, is a masseuse your final answer?
I think
You
it's still my final answer.
You didn't think that through.
I didn't think that through. I see what you're saying. But I still think I want the masseuse because my husband is awful at that. So I can clean my house, but I can cook my own food, but I can't massage my own back. You know, there's only so much I can do.
Yeah. All right. I would take a masseuse as well because I'm never gonna get married. I'm probably never gonna have kids. I too, since I live alone, I can clean my house. I make the mess. I can clean it up. A chef. I mean, I don't eat fancy food, so they're gonna make me fancy food because they're gonna be a chef. Don't really need it. Be cool. I could try a lot of different things. I'd have to have a lot of money to actually enjoy all the nice foods because they're expensive with a chef. And a masseuse, I guess I'm not paying for it, but I still got to pay for the food. I don't have to pay for the chef. I got to pay for the food. They just prepare it. So masseuse, I get it for the rest of life for free. Give that to me, man.
Yeah, yeah. Have you gotten a massage before? Like
I
you
have.
would-
I got a
Oh.
what's it called? A hot stone massage. A home. What do they call it?
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was working for a radio station. They did a remote, and I got to know the lady who owned it. She was like, "Oh, would you like one of these?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I'll tell you what, there's a lot more that goes into a massage, though, because you go into a massage and you have to drink a lot of water when you're done.
Yes.
Because if you don't, you'll get wobbly legged and fall over. Is what if
Yes.
I remember. If I
It's
remember
like all the
correctly.
blood flow, right? You know, it's right.
I don't know. They just told me. I did feel really good though, and it
Yeah.
makes you. You get one massage, and it makes you want to go back for another, which I never have yet. Though I would, if somebody watching this knows a really good masseuse, put it in the comment section because I would go again. You want to go? If somebody lives here?
No, not together.
I mean, we can go together in separate rooms, but you're not going to do it in the same room.
Is
That's
there a
ridiculous.
massage? Yes, I want to go. I want
Okay.
a good massage.
And we'll pay for it separately and all that good stuff. Gustavo can pay for yours or whatever you need to make happen. It's all good. But if you know a good masseuse here in Topeka, would you travel or do you just want it to be here in Topeka?
In
You don't
Topeka.
have to.
I
In
don't want to go
Topeka?
far.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Gee.
Natalie commented, she said,
Hey, hold on. You got to stop it. She said quilt. Oh, I see. I think quilting is a hobby. I think, Natalie, I agree with you on the quilting.
that
She also said, if the chef does the grocery shopping, I will take the chef. Yes, Natalie, but
Whoa.
you're still paying for the groceries. And if you're gonna have a chef, don't you want like the best food for the chef to prepare? Because to get the title of a chef, you have to be really good, right?
Yeah.
Because I know nobody calls you Chef Shayla.
No.
And nobody calls me Chef Bradley J. They call me, you can't cook, you need to stop, Bradley J. I mean, I can cook, I survive. I made meatloaf the other night. If you want me to, I'll post a picture next Wednesday of what it looked like before and after I cooked it. You want to do that. So
I like grocery shopping. Do you like grocery shopping or no?
yeah, because again, benefit of living alone, everything I buy is for me.
All for you. Yeah.
So if you see me buying an
She really
onion,
must have kids. That must be why she doesn't like grocery shopping. I can see where that would be stressful.
could be that could be one of those things. But all right, let me see, what else do I have? Anything else? No. I always keep notes with me though. It's always good to have notes.
Well, let's call it a day.
You don't have anything?
No, I'm just here for you, man.
Are you? Uh-oh, look at that. The music's playing you out.
See, I can't come up with topics because then you just phase me out anyway. And you have the ability just to take me off the screen whenever. So I don't even want to chance.
I don't know how that happened.
I walked into that one. That's fair.
I don't know what happened there. It's a little sad on that one. All right. Hey, are you going to see, before we wrap up, are you going to see the movie Dune Friday, Dune 2?
No. What was Dune 1? Is that a thing?
This is why we don't talk about pop culture, because Shayla has no idea. Shayla's I'm a young person. Shayla's an old person, really, when it comes to pop culture. She knows.
But you know what? My hobby is watching movies, so maybe I will go see it.
You need to watch part 1 first.
Okay, I'll binge it. I'll watch part 1. Is it like Windu?
It's a movie. It's a movie.
Okay.
You can watch it's like a 2-hour movie. If you really want, you can watch the first one, which was made all the way back in the 80s. And then you can watch that, and then you can watch Dune Part 1 here, which was out a couple years ago. And then you can watch the new one in theaters on Thursday or Friday.
What's the genre? Is this like a...
kind of sci-fi. But it's got Zendaya and Timothy Chalamet in it.
Would you like Zendaya?
Also, Josh Brolin's in it, Jason Momoa, and there's some good actors in it.
Oh, okay.
It's based on a book.
Maybe I'll check it out.
You need to check it out. All right.
Movies.
Well, let's go. Let me know when you're going. Call me.
Let's do it.
Yeah, bring Gustavo. Yeah, when you say let's go do something, are you including Gustavo?
Doesn't matter.
Well, I'm just wondering, when people say something and you're like, oh, I'd love to do that. Yeah, let's go. Is Gustavo, he's kind of like, do you have to ask him, or are you kind of like, oh no, he's coming because I just said we're going?
I mean, sometimes I sign him up for stuff, as you know. But usually I'll give him the option.
Okay. I was just checking, seeing who rules the roost in your lovely home down there. And it seems like it's pretty even still. 50-50.
Yeah.
No, in relationships, someone is always 50.5 and the other is 49.5.
I'm in charge.
Okay. Just checking on that. All right. Talk to you next Wednesday.
All right. Bye.
There we go. Shayla. She's always in